Okay, hi Mike, and hey, I was off the just got off the phone with the tech support at FitnessGram, and I think I've got this figured out as to what's happening. So I'll talk a little bit about the report, and then we'll also talk about that 4B class that you've got a problem with. Here I am. I am taking a look at the FitnessGram student report, just like we were talking about on the phone. I've got the 17-18 school year, Soderstrom Elementary. I've got you selected. Here's, I think, where things come into play. The recommendation would be when you're at this particular first report filter, the first step in the process, click the All button right here. And you'll notice that it says 15 of 15 options selected, and all that's doing is it's making sure that in its primary filtering part of the software, it's collecting the data from every single class that you've got in the system. So I think that's the key right there, and I'll talk more about that again in just a second to show why. But we hit continue. Then on this screen, we come back. We're going to select this Fall-2017 option in the middle. This is the only test event in your system that actually has student data in it. The top one and the bottom one are all blank and empty, and I'll talk about that again too here in just a second. So be sure you select this one right here. It is correct to leave the auto select as the choice here. So we're in the select all mode, and so what would happen is if I clicked on this as is, if I hit the run report right now, it would start to generate a report that would have all K through 4 students on it, whatever that is, 280-ish students, I think, is what we've got in the system. That will take a little while. It's going to take a little time to run that, but I have run it, and it looks like it's running correctly. Feel free to do that to yourself and just to verify that you're getting all students to pull. But that's the way to get your total elementary building run on the student report. Here's the next step. If you just wanted your kindergarten class only, you would go back to the grade level and you would need to select kindergarten. This works because in the original report filter, you've got all listed. If you were to go in here and let me unclick all. If I was to actually go in and select a class, say 1A, so I've got 1A in the filter here, and I select kindergarten here. Let me run that real quick here. We'll see how long. I don't think it'll take too long to show you this. But basically what happens is because those two filters are pulling two different sets of data, it's going to load a report here that says there's no data available. And there you can see what's happened. And this was happening to me when we were on the phone. I was pulling some different grade levels, and it was giving me this error report. And the reason why is because this filter and this filter have two different selections. So the best practice would be to come in, make sure that your all button is your choice whenever you pull that one. And then no matter what you select for your grade level here, it should pull correctly. And so I hope that makes sense as to what I'm talking about there. If I need to review that or go over that with you any further, feel free to give me a holler. It shouldn't be a problem. Now let's go on to your 4B issue. I'm going to go back to the menu over here. I'm going to select FitnessGram. And the first thing I wanted to point out was that on this screen, you're seeing 3 test events that have been created this fall. One of them, the Fall-2017, has 281 students. 66 students are still missing data. But you'll notice here with these 2 events that you had created at an earlier time or at some point in time in the last couple weeks, we didn't get all students selected and there's no data actually in there at all. So the tech support guy told me theoretically you could go in and delete these test events if you wanted to, if you were certain that there wasn't any data collected and input into the system with these test events. Shouldn't impact this test collection at all. And so that may be something you want to think about. He also indicated there's no problem with leaving those in here as is and just letting it run. Just know that this Fall-2017 is your active test event that you need to work off of. I'm going to select Fall 2017 and I'm going to go to Go To, Enter Data. Okay. And so remember that in the previous screen, 66 students out of the elementary have some data missing in their records. I'm guessing that Madeline Holm would be one of those. Here's a first grader. It's got a few things listed here, so she's probably one of the 66. And there's various other kids throughout that have that, but you know that as far as putting in data. If you go to your 4B, right there, here's the problem. There's nothing showing up in curl up and push up, which you knew. And talking to the tech support gentleman, he indicated that from his side of the system, he could see no reason why, could give no explanation, I guess I should say, why those are empty if you had put data in it. It's just not there. He did indicate that the best practice recommendation is to use Google Chrome as the web browser when you're in FitnessGram. He did mention that they do have reports that when people use browsers other than Chrome, that occasionally problems like this do show up. So that might be what's happened here. The browser you were, if you weren't using Chrome, perhaps the browser had some issues there, and data that you had put into that particular section for whatever reason just didn't get uploaded correctly. But it does not appear that there's anything that they can do on their side, and it by all accounts, looking in the system here, it's just not there. So I'm afraid I have some bad news relative to that group. But at the very least, I think we've confirmed that there's no information in the system to pull. But so sorry about that, but that's about all I can tell you with it. And we'll just have to figure out going forward how to resolve that for your reporting. The last thing I wanted to talk about was under the settings tab here, this help menu button here actually has some pretty good materials under support topics. That right there, support topics. Most of these have some very short videos that will show you how to do certain things. So if you want to review the test events, how to create them, entering data, editing, then there's the report section here. And they may be of variable use and quality. I didn't really look at them, but the tech support guy just pointed it to me and said, here's a good place to go if you need specific questions answered. So there you go. Anyway, hope that helps. If there's anything further I can help you with to get these reports done that you're needing to finish, give me a holler and I'll do what I can, okay? Thanks.